the election. Um, we're just holding vigil.
Holding vigil.
So that we know that sometimes things can change in a moment, in the blink of an eye.
In a trice.
Perception and politics and
things
can change. So we're just...
That could be good news too.
Well, right now it seems like things are going in a good direction. So we're just holding vigil. Holding vigil so that we can kind of deepen in our attentiveness, in our watchfulness, in our path to being the best people. Eager-ness, the second step, in our path to being the best people that we can be. We're studying two texts. We have Jimmy's most recent vigil book that he started after October 7th.
I like this book.
Good book. Thoughtful, but challenging. And then this book, Mesilat Yesharim, by Moshe Chaim Luzzatto, who takes us on this journey through a passage in the Talmud that takes us on this path of a fitness course for the soul and for our characters, our essence, to be able to respond in the holiest of ways to whatever comes in our path, because we have kind of become the very best people we can be. And the first step was
attentiveness.
The second is eager-ness or passion.
Zerizut.
So let's begin with maybe a poem from Vigil.
Okay.
And then do a short teaching. This book. Right?
Yeah, baby. These are long. The early ones are long. I'm going to read a shorter one.
Okay.
This is good.
Okay.
This is called The Chambers. This was from the Torah of that Shabbat, right after anyway. This called The Chambers. This, the beginning and the end, as if linear, does not apply. A circle, a cycle, a spiral, we ascend with the ending, beginning, Genesis, the end implies the beginning, a seam, S-E-A-M, with the end. Uroburo, self-devouring serpent, first living being, self-reflexive, Plato. Turn it and turn it, for everything is contained within, from Ben Bagbag, who may or may not have been Yochanan ben Bagbag, who knew the chambers of the Torah. There is a life force, a point existing within each living being, a sign of divine origin. When attached to this point, the life force enlivens every living thing, partners in creation.
Interesting, especially in the context of what this text says about the life force and its connection to the Yetzer.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, in your piece, it's the whole thing, right?
Well, that's the language. I'm actually using the language of Svat Emet, the language of truth. Important book, and I picked up on his language. He likes to talk about the inner point of...
Svat Emet talks about how the inner point of light, it contains everything. It's kind of like DNA,
lively,
right?
Point of consciousness.
And that's what made me think about the Yetzer Tov and the Yetzer Hara.
Yeah.
Both Yetzers, are necessary, and they both are who we are. It's just that what we want to do is to exercise that Yetzer Tov, so that's our response. That's our response.
Yeah, because
and
we're
it makes you very humble, right? It's a humility thing.
At a regularly appointed time
of
solitude, Luzzatto says, we examine ourselves, we reflect on the path that we're on. I like that.
And he does say that's part of that is part of the practice is
Yeah.
to make to make time every day for that kind of
Yeah.
serious reflection.
Yeah, from Lamentations, seek out our ways and examine them, and we will return to God. V'nashuva ad Hashem.
You know, it's interesting in these times of so many words, there can only almost be too much.
Yeah,
Too many
absolutely.
words, right? Too
Completely.
many words. There's two stories. One is that story about the Baal Shem Tov who can't go into the synagogue.
Yeah.
Because there's just too many words and they've filled the space and they
But the words were
flat.
gathered
Yeah.
around the ground. They had no lift.
No lift. So there was no space for him. He can't go in. There's
The
no
words
room for
need
me.
some lift. I
The
have
words
some
need
pieces about that.
So there's that.
The
And
words had
yeah.
no lift. Boy, I've experienced that a lot.
Yeah. But you know, there's also this notion that the word is in exile,
Ah, yeah.
right? The
Right.
word is in exile.
Anus alpia, because
Right.
alpia from the Haggadah,
Mm-hmm.
the word went into exile.
Right.
Yeah,
And it's
love
our
that.
work is to bring her, to draw
Yeah.
her back in
Love it.
into the world. There's a play on the
Oh, that's
words
great.
me siach, and the word will come back with
Mm.
me siach, the sea of dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not when people are talking at each other, but when people are really speaking
Yeah.
with each other. And Mesiach is also a play on the word Mashiach. So what brings Mashiach? What brings the Messianic age?
Real dialogue.
Mesiach,
Love
the
it.
sea of dialogue.
Yeah. You know, I could have listened all night long last night, though.
Yeah,
I
I know,
have to say.
the convention.
We were so hungry for words.
Right, and words.
Words have been so abused these days. That's one of the
Thoughtful
reasons why
words.
we're doing this, I think.
Yeah,
The abuse of language. And remember, our man, the Ramchal, Moshe Chaim Luzzatto, talks about that sense of the abuse of truth, how important it is that you don't be disturbed the nature of truth and untruth. Don't be deceived as untruth presented as truth, and truth declined.
yeah. You have
The
to
declension of untruth.
right, because there
Terrible.
is no moving forward
Big problem,
without truth.
right?
You know, it will. Oh, he talked about that in this chapter. He says,
Yeah.
you know, how do you know you're on the right path?
Well,
You know, you don't. There are many paths. It's
Right.
only from above that something can help you stay on the right path, and it's truth. It's truth.
yeah.
You can be led astray by untruth, and so it is the truth that keeps you on the street, on this path. So seek truth today, and
I hear you, Mama.
right,
Yeah.
and you leave with a blessing, maybe.
Okay.
What?
I was looking for that piece. I love that piece. The words will need a little lift.
The words need lift.
Mhm.
That's a really wonderful image, and
Yeah.
you know it when you feel it, right?
Because,
you know it. You know it.
when we put light in the sanctuary, the language that we use is to lift up a light. Not just to bring a light in, you got to lift up a light. The words will need a little lift, and we feel that all the time in our work.
Yep.
So, yeah. Oh, we got to do the constellations.
Oh yeah.
So let's do the constellations and we'll
We are
finish.
the 7 weeks between Tisha B'Av and Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah. So I'm going to read week 1 and week 2 because we're in week 2 now.
Got it.
Week 1, consolation 1. Comfort and be comforted. Listen, intention to offer and serve. Wilderness a plain, every valley a high place. All flesh see together, grass and flowers. Speak to the mountains. Lift up your voice from low places. Foundations know and hear. Lift up your eyes. Plant your feet. Give yourself a name. Give everything a name. Consolation 2. You abandoned me. You've forgotten me. A mother does not forget her child. You came out of my womb. I could not forget you.
Mm.
Engrave psalms on your hands. Build me into a fence. Whatever pursues will depart. Lift up your eyes alive. Clothe yourself with ornaments. Your narrow's too small for you. Be a bride.
Be a bride.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
I see Jody. You see her?
I see her. Thank you for joining us, and we hope it's a blessed day. Tuesday is, the day we usually say is a good luck day. Mazel take a Tuesday, the day God said it was good twice. I hope it's a good day.
Make it a good day unless you have other plans.
And make sure your words have